Yo guys, what's up? It's your boy Eric2101 here coming at you guys today with another video. And in today's video, I just hit 400 games installed on my Xbox. And so this is part one of me going through all of them with you guys and ranking them each. I'm doing the best game of each row in alphabetical order. So there's going to be 80 rows in total. I'm going to be doing four different parts of 20 rows to make it shorter for you guys. Because for the best game of each row, I'm going to be doing a 1 minute showcase and review. I'm just going to be showing you guys 1 minute worth of gameplay and a little bit of a quick review of it for you guys. So hopefully I introduce you guys to some really cool new games that you actually are interested in and want to check out. Now, I do have to warn you guys, a lot of these games I have very little exposure to. I haven't beaten them. Maybe I haven't gotten very far into a lot of these games. So if you see one that should win and I pick a different one over it, let me know to play it more and to give it a second shot. Let me also know in the comments down below what games I don't have installed that I should install and try out. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. Alrighty, so as you guys can see, there are 5 games per row, and it just goes down by alphabetical order. So we're actually starting with the things that don't have a letter in the title. So for example, it has then a prophecy and then 10 and 11. But the games in the first row are N for Lore Versed In, 10 Second Ninja, 1111 Memories Retold, Alkahine's Gun, and Alice Madness Returns. So our winner for the first row is going to be 1111 Memories Retold. Now, this game has a 92% rating according to Google users, which is going to be one of the highest ones you see in this entire series. It is a narrative adventure of video game set during World War I, and you get to play as a few different stories. You get to play as a photographer trying to photograph the war. You get drafted basically out of this little workshop you're working at as a photographer, and you get to go photograph the war. And another narrative is you're a father who's looking for his lost at sea son. Your son gets lost during the war, but you don't want to give up hope. You don't want to admit that he's dead, so you sign up for the army so you can go look for your son. And it just gets very, very intense during this game. And there's not very many World War I games out there. There's a lot of World War II games out there. There's not very many World War I games out there, and definitely not a whole lot of good ones. So our first winner is 1111 Memories Retold. Alright guys, so going into the second row, we have Alien Isolation, American Ninja Warrior, Among Us, Animal Super Squad, and APB Reloaded. So guys, this is a very good lineup, but the winner has to be Among Us. Among Us was the first large party game that I really actually enjoyed. And of course, Fortnite was a very popular, somewhat large party game at 4 people, and they upped it after a couple of years. But Among Us is free to play on Game Pass, and it's only $5, and I believe it's free on the cell phone as well. But it just completely did a whole lot for the gaming community. It was one of the best large party games ever released in American history. It is described as a multiplayer social deduction game developed and published by American game studio Inner Sloth. And it was actually inspired by the party game Mafia and science fiction horror film The Thing. So you guys, Among Us is our second winner of the game, just because it's such a large party game and there's so many different things to do in the game. I love all of the different missions and objectives you have to complete. I love the detective work of it, and it's just a really great addition to the gaming world because of how large of the parties it is. Alrighty, so for our third row, we have Apex Legends, Dig Dug, Galaga, Miss Pac-Man, and Army of Two. 5 very classic games in their own perspective of classic. But I have to give the winner to Apex Legends. Now, even though the other, there's obviously the 3 main classic games of American arcade history. However, if you're going off the best game, it has to be Apex Legends. It really did a whole lot for the Battle Royale genre. I really enjoy the graphics, I really enjoy the rush of it. It's sort of Halo-esque, but with a Battle Royale theme to it. And I really enjoyed Apex Legends, and I think a lot of people enjoyed Apex Legends. Of course, all other 4 of those games are classics as well, but just because we have to go over the most advanced game and the best game in that row, so I have to give it to Apex Legends. Alrighty, so going into the 4th row, we have Art of Rally, The Artful Escape, The Assembly, Astronomer, and Back to the Future, the game. I have to go with Back to the Future, the game, as our winner.
Okay,
I really enjoy the Tall Tale series. This may not be the last time you see Tall Tale on my list of favorites. I believe it was a wonderful game studio when they were still a studio. Of course, now they've closed their doors, unfortunately, due to several problems. But I do believe they made some amazing games, and Back to the Future, the game, was one of them. Of course, this is basically just a movie-esque game where you're basically just playing through the storyline of Back to the Future with Tall Tale's spin on it. So you're actually playing as the character himself. And hey guys, so going into the next row, we have Backbone, Bad North, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, which is the second game to Banjo-Kazooie, and Bard's Tale. Alrighty guys, so this time we are going with the classic of Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie is our winner, and of course it's a classic from the Nintendo 64, possibly before the Nintendo 64. So basically, you're tasked with thwarting the various evil schemes of a witch named Gruntilla or something like that. It's like Gruntilla. And so basically there's this witch and she's giving you like these evil things to do, and you're playing as both a big bird and a big bear throughout the game. So it's a very interesting, basically, adventure game during a very classic role-playing adventure game. Going on to row number 6, we have Batman, the Tall Tale series, Batman, Arkham Knight, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield V or Battlefield 5, and Battletoads. I have to go with Batman Arkham Knight. I really enjoyed Batman Arkham Knight when it was sort of first released, and of course you guys know who the Batman is, and most of you guys have probably played Batman Arkham Knight. It's the most famous Batman game out to date. It has a 95% rating of people who liked this video game on Google users, which is another very good rating. It's an action-adventure game developed by Rocksteady Studios and published by the Warner Bros. It was released in 2015, so actually only going on about 6.5 years ago. But guys, it has a 9.2 on IGN, 95% of Google users liked it. It's just a very classic Batman game. It took over very quickly as the best Batman game out and the biggest Batman game out. I believe almost everybody would say that Arkham Knight is their favorite Batman game. Alrighty guys, going on to row number 7. We have Bejeweled 2, Bejeweled 3, Ben-Hur, Beyond Eyes, and Beyond Good and Evil. So a very interesting lineup. Ben-Hur was when the Xbox One first released, Ben-Hur released, but the winner of this row has to be Bejeweled 3. One of the classics of mobile and Facebook gaming, along with Candy Crush, This is one of the games that became huge on Facebook. Huge mobile game, Bejeweled 3. The Xbox adaptation of it is really fun, and I really just like the puzzling aspect of Bejeweled 3. Of course, it really looks nice for a puzzle game with all of the different colors. Of course, it was made by PopCap Games. And yeah, guys, so that's all I have to say about Bejeweled 3. Of course, you guys know what Bejeweled 3 is. You're trying to get a very high score, these huge lines of shapes together, and then it just creates a massive reaction across the map. It's just so much fun. Alright, guys, going on to row number 8, we have Blair Witch, Bleeding Edge, Bless Unleashed, Blinks, and Brawlhalla. Alrighty, so the winner is going to be Blair Witch. Unfortunately, I never got to fully play through Blair Witch. However, I did watch Markiplier play through it. And basically, you're just walking through the woods, but it has a very nice story narrative to it. It has great characters. Even your dog, it has one of the best dog companions I've ever seen in a video game. Of course, with your German Shepherd, it always seems to be that the dog companions in video games are German Shepherds or Labs. But yeah, guys, so it definitely has like a very nice dog companion story to it. Your dog is always with you. You're the main character, of course, going through the woods. It's based on the Blair Witch Trials found footage video game, and it's just a really nice walking simulator and story narrative. It is listed as a survival game with a 89% rating from Google users. So you guys, it's basically a story narrative game and a walking simulator. It has a slight horror narrative to it. It's not super scary, but it does have some jump scares at some points throughout the game. And it's listed as a survival game off of Google, but I definitely wouldn't really list it as a survival game. It's definitely more of a walking simulator and story narrative. Going on to row 9, we have Breath Edge, Bug Fables, The Everlasting Sampling, Burnout Paradise, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and Call of Duty Black Ops. Controversial opinion here, but I'm picking Call of Duty Black Ops 3 as the winner. This might just be because of my age. I'm currently 19 years old, so when Black Ops 3 dropped, I was in prime Call of Duty days with the boys, listening to Wiz Khalifa and Classic Command by Jadina. Just playing the Search and Destroy, the S&D, the Team Deathmatch, all of that good stuff, calling in the raps. I really enjoyed Black Ops 3, even though a lot of people hated on it because it was a futuristic Call of Duty. I definitely think it was the best futuristic Call of Duty, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was just an amazing multiplayer experience. I really thought the gameplay was great for multiplayer, and a lot of people hated on the story mode. I did actually complete the story mode of Black Ops 3, and I gotta be honest with you, I think it was one of the better story modes I've played through. Not necessarily that the story was super amazing, but the gameplay of the story mode was really great, I thought. So Black Ops 3 was definitely the winner for this row. Alrighty guys, going on to row number 10, we're halfway done with this video. We have Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Ghost, Call of Duty World at War, and Carrion. So we know it's not going to be Carrion, that's for sure. But I'm going to have to pick Call of Duty Ghost as the winner of this row, and I know it's another controversial Call of Duty pick. My taste in Call of Duty games is so controversial. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for it. But again, I really thought that Ghost had an amazing multiplayer experience. I really enjoyed Ghost. I know a lot of people who did not enjoy Ghost. but it was a really nice, older, realistic Call of Duty. It was sort of the transformation into the Call of Duty we know today, in my opinion, along with Black Ops 2. It was a really good transformation Call of Duty into the modern Call of Duties, and I just really enjoyed Call of Duty Ghosts. In my opinion, it was a really good multiplayer experience. A little bit more tactical than the other Call of Duties as well. I think the maps were a little bit bigger, and it was just a really good experience overall. Alrighty guys, going into row number 11, we have Castle Crashers, Children of Mordor, The Child's Sight, Cities, Skylines, and Cluster Truck. Alright guys, the winner is Cluster Truck. I really haven't been enjoying Cluster Truck. Basically, it's a very simple game. All you do is you jump. You're basically like a little dot, and you're trying to jump from the backs of semi trucks. So you're on one back of a semi truck to start off with, and you have to keep on jumping to different semi trucks, landing on them, while these semi trucks are like crashing into each other and racing around, and you have to make it to the finish line. So it's a very fast-paced game, especially as you move along, it becomes faster and faster. And it's one of those challenging games, sort of like Flappy Bird and Jetpack Joyride. So it's an addicting game, trying to see how far you can go, trying to break your record, etc., etc. Moving on to row number 12, we have Comic Jumper, The Complex, The Console, The Crew, and The Crew 2. Now, this one has a pretty obvious winner in my opinion. It has to be The Crew 2. The Crew 2 allows you to race, fly, and also drive any boat you want around any city you want in the United States. So I believe it has Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Miami, and I might be missing a couple other cities across the United States that are included in this game. Now guys, this is not the most graphically amazing game. A lot of the cities that are in this game just look flat out horrible. Pretty horribly designed cities. A lot of the stuff is missing, and a lot of these cities, it's not like, you know, Grand Theft Auto to where it's a very detailed city, but at the same time, it is the city, and you get to experience different cities across the United States. So Chicago, New York, San Francisco, and Miami, I believe, are the main 4 cities that actually do look quite nice, but there's a lot of smaller cities in between there. And guys, I've had a lot of fun playing The Crew and The Crew 2. On to row 13, we have Crossfire X, Crossout, Cursed Fold, The Culling, and Cuphead. A very competitive row, but I have to go with... And so our winner for this row is going to be Cuphead. So 97% of Google users liked Cuphead. It's also a really popular game. But it was a 2017 run-and-gun video game developed by Studio MDHR, and it was inspired by the Rubber House style from the golden age of American animation, and the subversive and surrealist qualities of the works of Walt Disney Animation Studios and Fletcher Studios. So its release, it was September 29th, and right on release, it was a very popular game. It's infamous for being very difficult to complete any of the levels, and so if you like a good challenge, and you like a good puzzle, and you like a good run and gun, old style American animation sort of video game, it is very old school animation, as you can see. Go ahead and get Cuphead. To row number 14, we have Cyber Shadow, Cyberpunk, Dark Dreams Don't Die, Dandra, and Dante's Inferno. And the winner of row 14 is Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk had an infamous debut for being extremely hyped up, and it had a very poor release with a lot of bugs, glitches, etc. And people were saying that it simply was not a good game, but it has had many updates since then, and now it is pretty good game with 70% of people liking it, and it is a action role-playing video game developed and published by CD Projekt. And the story takes place in Night City, which is basically a fictional, like Detroit. It's Detroit Become Human sort of game. It's definitely like Detroit Become Human, and a little bit of GTA combined in that. So you guys can get the picture of Grand Theft Auto mixed with Detroit Become Human. It's a robotic, open world game set in a fictional Detroit. And yeah guys, so Cyberpunk 2077 is the winner for row 14. Moving on to row 15, we have the Dark Pictures analogy, House of Ashes, along with the Dark Pictures analogy, Man of Medan. Darwin Project, Day of the Tentacle, and Day Z. And before you guys ask, yes, I did play through Little Hope, and yes, it was my favorite Dark Pictures trilogy game. It's actually an analogy. It has 4 games. The 4th game is coming out, I believe, next year. But for this row, I'm going to have to pick Man of Medan as my favorite game in row 15. Basically, it's a horror survival game. Every single choice you make matters, so there's different outcomes at the end. Different people are going to survive based off of the actions and decisions you make during the game, which makes it extremely interesting because anything can change at any given second based off the smallest decisions you make throughout the game, and every single choice you make is going to matter. So it makes it a very fun survival horror game. You're basically going through a haunted warship. A bunch of people died on this boat, and now you're going through it, and your friends are dying too. And how are you going to survive? That's up to you. How many of your friends are going to survive? That's up to you. But Dark Pictures analogy, Man of Medan, is the first game in the Dark Pictures anthology, and it is the winner of row 15. Moving on to row 16, we have D-Blob, Dead or Alive 5, Dead Rising 4, Dead Space, and Deadpool. So we have 4 games with the word dead in it. And I would have to say my favorite is Dead Rising 4, the zombie slashing first-person shooter. I know it's a shooter game. I'm not. I forget right off the top of my head if it's a first or third-person shooter game, and I know I beat the game not too long ago. But it was a very good zombie slasher. There's so many different fun weapons and a fun open world map design. There's so much stuff to find in the game. So many different collectibles, weapons, comic relief throughout the campaign really helps it a lot. The graphics are alright for a zombie slasher, and it's just a very good game all around. So Dead Rising 4 is the winner for row 15, even over Deadpool. Alrighty guys, so moving on to row 16, we have Dear Esther, Death Squared, Deer Simulator, Deep Rock Galactic, and Deliver Us to the Moon. Now guys, taking the first glance at this row, you guys already knew the clear winner of row 16 was going to be Deer Simulator. It's basically you play as a deer and you have to cause as much chaos as possible, collecting guns throughout the maps, turning people into deer, killing cops, killing sheep cops, killing polar bear cops, killing all the cops. Deer Simulator is a great game. Yes, cause so much chaos as a deer. After basically you start out as a human, and very early on into the game you get hit by a car, and then you are basically what's it called? When you come back to life as something else, you come back to life as a deer, and then you cause chaos as a deer, killing people, turning people into deer, all sorts of fun things. There's a lot of good boss fights in Deer Simulator as well, so I really enjoyed Deer Simulator, and it is the winner of row 16. Moving on into row 17, we have Descenders, Destroy All Humans, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Dodgeball Academa, and Don't Knock Twice. A much harder row than the last row. I'm going to have to go Destroy All Humans as the winner, though. It was a game that I really enjoyed as a very young child when it first came out for, I believe, the PlayStation 2 it came out for, which is what I played it on originally, and now I own it for the Xbox Series S, so look at that, well, it's remastered. But Destroy All Humans is just a very fun game. It has lots of comic relief. You're an alien, you're a UFO, and you're trying to cause as much havoc and chaos as possible. It's a lot like Deer Simulator in a way. It's basically Alien Simulator. It's another word for Destroy All Humans. And it's exactly what the title says. You're trying to destroy all humans. Into row 19, we have Don't Starve, Donut County, Doritos Crash Course, Euro Fishing, and Dragon Age Origins. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to have to give it to the game I played most recently in this row, which is Donut County. Basically, you're a hole in the ground that was caused by a raccoon, and you're trying to suck everything on Earth into this hole. You're trying to suck all your friends down with you. You're trying to suck all the businesses in the city down with you. And again, there's lots of comic relief with it. You're also another main character is a woman that works at the donut shop. So it's just a nice little fun little silly game, funny game. I actually played it along with Macca's guides for the achievements, but I did play it but I played most of it by myself. So yeah guys, that is the winner for row 18 is Donut County. Moving on to row 19, we have Dragon, Dreamfall Chapters, Dasadi, Dungeon of the Endless, and Dying Reborn. Now guys, again, this is a very easy pick for me. It has to be a Dragon, just for the pure graphics of it. The storyline is okay, but it's basically just a walking simulator, but the graphics of it are really amazing. I believe it takes place in Iceland or Greenland or something like that. One of those little, very beautiful, natural European places. I really do believe it's Iceland. It's set in like the 1940s. It has to do a little bit with religion as well. It has a religious tie into it. There is a church in it. There's angels, but it's not the whole thing. There's also a little bit have to do with mental illness, schizophrenia of the main character, and yeah, so basically you're a schizophrenic character, and it has to do a little bit with religion, ghosts, angels, all that cool stuff. But it's a very beautiful game, and that's why I picked it for the graphics. And that is the winner of row 19. And alright guys, so we are approaching the end of this video with row 20. We have Dying Light, UFC 3, Emily Wants to Play, Emily Wants to Play 2, and Empire of Sin. So a very interesting lineup, but I'm going to have to go with EA Sports UFC 3. I've really enjoyed all the UFC games. They're really good fighting games. WWE has been very bad for the past, decade now. 2011 and 2013 were good WWE games, but now it's all about UFC. UFC 3 is a very good fighting game, very good cage fighting game. You just have to love it. And yeah, guys, that is the winner of row 20. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys part 2, 3, and 4 are already uploaded by the time you guys are seeing this, because I'm uploading them all at the same time. So links to part 2, 3, and 4 are going to be in the description down below, as well as the full thing if you just wanted to go to the full thing and skip to about 20 minutes and 23 minutes and it should be, and then start from there, and then you can just watch 2, 3, and 4 consecutively if you would like to do that. But all the links are going to be in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.